Chiarete, and welcome to another Hellenic pagan video. My name is Evan Rigakis, and I am one of the administrators of Hellenic Pagans Facebook group. Okay, so it's been a while since I've done a video, and I did give an update. So I thought for this video, what I would do as a follow-up to the previous, like part 2 of Hellenic paganism for beginners, and just, go through my notes, basically, and I got a lot of notes. So let's just start off right off the bat with, okay. Excuse me. The Hellenic pagan tradition is being published in a 3-book series called Threskia, Ancient Greek Spirituality. The first book is the complete rites and rituals of the mystery tradition, the Hellenic mystery tradition, and that has been up for publication for the past couple of years due to funding, blah, 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 and all the rest of it. But this year, the funding has come through, and we will be going to publishers by the end of the year. So that's good news. And in that book, all the rites and rituals will be in there. And to give you an idea, the rites, not of the pagan tradition. See, the pagan tradition is really just the seasonal rites. It doesn't actually include the wedding or funeral or, those things. So, but the mystery tradition does have those. And the mystery tradition is composed of a series of rites, the seasonal rites being one part, but not all. Yeah, you'd think I'd be better organized, but I basically tried to do this on the wing type of deal, so you'll have to bear with me because I'm an idiot. But hey, the world's filled with them. Yeah, they just go all over the place, really. Crap. Okay, well, thing is that I had them all written out, and now I can't find them. And guess what I just found? A shitload of notes. So on this side, they're not even there. Okay. Well, anyways, so we have the rites, the seasonal rites, and they're called the rites of Chronos, and they're the 8 seasonal festivals, as you know, in pagan traditions. I have done a series of 8 videos I believe, all 8, yeah, of these seasonal festivals, like a synopsis sort of thing. So you can check it out there and figure that out. But in addition to these, we have something called the rite of Hymenaeus, and basically that's the rite of marriage. Then we have the rites of Thessia meaning sacrifice. And there, yes, it deals a little bit with worship, but it's more about honoring. And the way they honored the gods was with sacrifice, blood sacrifice. So I go through all of that, and I also found offerings, certain offerings to certain gods. Like like for example, not all gods. You don't sacrifice a bull to all the gods. You don't sacrifice a goat to all the gods. Demeter or Dimitra, her sacrifice is a pig, not even a goat or a bull. So there's a whole list of them anyways, and it's listed in the book. So there's also the rite of symposium, and basically it's kind of sort of like a little gathering of friends and acquaintances. We share a meal, and we share some wine and some whatever, and we talk. We don't get shit-faced. We don't get whacked out of our trees. We keep, everything in proportion. We use the wine and the drugs to free our minds, to open our, so that we'd have discussions. Usually a panel is invited to speak at these symposiums, and basically it comes from the mysteries. They said that after the mysteries were practiced, the initiates would go to symposium, and stuff like that. So there's the rite of symposium. Then we have the rite of Thonio, which is basically the last rite. And it was very interesting because I found the actual funeral, basically, that has been around since Mycenaean times. So, like really flippin' ancient, like 4,000 years old tradition. Anyways, so I got that, and that's in the book. And it's filled with also rituals, rituals. And that's where I want to start off. Rituals, not everybody is so up to date, especially beginners, especially newcomers that are fresh off the boat type of deal. A lot of them are very intimidated by rituals. They're very weary of them. I don't know if I can do it right, and with good reason, I guess. So, in the previous video, I said that here are the festivals. Go ahead and do them. But the truth is that in order to do these rites and rituals, and indeed to live a pagan life, you're going to need to know a few basic things. you're gonna have to be able to know certain things, like meditation, for example. That's right off the bat. You have to know how to meditate. Not meditate like Buddhist, no thought and stuff like that. No. All I'm saying is meditation for focusing the mind. Calming the mind and focusing and being able to quiet yourself, bringing your brain waves to an alpha wave type of deal, because that is the wave that you need your mind to be when you're performing these rituals. So a good way of achieving this alpha wave, there's many different brain waves that you can use in ritual, but let's just stay with the alpha wave. There is something called, but I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, binaural beats, and they induce the brain to produce alpha brain waves. So you might want to check that out. And because using music is a key factor in meditating. Besides having the day done so you don't have other things on your brain, and the incense and your all that type of shit. But it's also music. Music is very soothing. Music will, you choose your music. I mean, music can get you going and music can calm you down, So use it. Okay, so you're also gonna need to learn how to visualize. A lot of people, a good way of visualizing is coming into a meditative state, or an alpha brainwave, and taking an orange, for example. Taking the orange, feeling the orange with your hands, all the nooks and crannies and all the, all the dents and whatever, and smell the orange and hold it and, really look at it for a little while and then put it away. And do that in meditation. Like smell the orange, feel the orange, see the orange, hear. That is what I mean by visualization. You're also, you see, in these practices, we use, in the mystery tradition, we use crystals, which means that we cleanse our rituals, we program our rituals, crystals, excuse me. So you're going to need to know how to work with the crystal. Crystal is just energy in solid format. So you need to know how to sense, to feel energy. There's all kinds of energy. So sensitivity is what brought you here in the first place. Because you've gotten to the point where you're looking to the Hellenic tradition or the Celtic tradition or whatever. The fact that you feel like you have to do this, that's your sensitivity being on above average. Okay, so a good way to feel, even, I had one guy show me this little trick. Says, yeah, you can feel your own bioenergy. And I said, oh, really? How do you do that? He goes, just take a deep breath, calm your mind, and bring your hands slowly together. When you get like half an inch apart, move them up and down. And when you, when you move them up and down, in your hand itself, you can actually feel an energy. It's very subtle, but you can actually feel it. Just move your hands up and down, focus, and it's amazing, really. So try that out too. There are other sensitivity exercises to strengthen your sensitivity. Basically, they deal with your sensory. You don't just have these 5 senses or 6 senses. You have many senses, both physical and metaphysical. So you might want to get some exercises going like that. I do know of an easy exercise. Well, I call it easy. But you can always build on it. A way was, I found this exercise with the Golden Dawn, the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, which I was once upon a time a member of. And what they told me to do was take a deck of cards, regular playing cards, shuffle them, and as you shuffle them, have a piece of paper and a pen. As you're shuffling them, just think of shuffling. Don't think of anything else. Once you're finished shuffling, cut them in 2, put them on top of each other, and then put your hand over the deck and feel or guess, red or black. Turn the card over. Is it black or is it red? Correct, incorrect. You have your correct one. So you do that to every card. If you get only like half of them right, that's good. If you get even less than 50% right, still that's good. The more you do it, the more you'll get the hang of it, and next thing you know, you're more than 50%, you're 60%, you're 70%. You'll know that from recording the yes and the no's. So that's one way of building your sensitivity. But you can also do it up one. Say not only black or red, but court card or regular number. Use your imagination. Okay, so I might end up making a video for all these type of exercises, but these are basically the basic stuff you need. Because if you know how to feel energy and you know how to work energy, raising energy, you'll be able to direct energy. That's what you're doing with rituals. Rituals are basically working energy. Everything is energy. Okay. Right, so before starting to play with rituals, please do your research. There are many books that talk about all these matters. Okay. Ooh. I don't want to get into that right now. Okay. So, you need to be able to, it's not just sensitivity, but it's also in your daily life. Things like observation, paying attention to your intuition, wherever you're going, be fully aware of your surroundings and what in every detail. It's hard at first, but you need to be able to have your observation skills at a very high level. So when things start to happen, you want to be aware of what's happening, of what's coming, you know. So you're definitely going to need exercises on observation, awareness, paying attention to your intuition, feeling before you move, before you make the decision to make this action. Try to feel what it's going to do. You know what I mean? You'll see what I mean when you start doing this stuff. So these things are very important in the fact that everything we're doing, we're working with crystals. You're going to need to know energy. Even without crystals, you still need to know energy, because that's what we all work with, you know. So the method of the tradition is that normally people will just come to us and say, oh, you know, I've been drawn to the Hellenic gods since I was a child, and I've seen Apollo or whoever it might be, and they've been worshiping in their own way Apollo, and they want to know, they now want to take on a tradition. Well, the tradition does not have as a premise worship. The Hellenic traditions were about finding self, finding connection, and finding connection with not just nature, but with everything. What would happen is that you would be looking for a connection with nature, but in fact, you find out that you've already had a connection with nature, and now you're just trying to, you know, strengthen it. So as you go on with this connection to nature, you'll come to a realization that you're actually looking into the nature of things, all things. Once you get into the nature of things, then you'll be into the nature of your thing, because guess what? You are also part of nature. And what you're really doing by looking for connection is you're investigating yourself. So there was this one quote I loved that really puts it all into perspective. If I can only find it. And it's been right in front of me for days now, and now that I want it, I can't find it, right? Right. Oh. I don't have the quotes, nor will I ever learn. Oh, and there you go. Okay, so the guy's name is Joe W. Marek, or Marek. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Excuse me if I'm pronouncing it wrong. But he posted this nice little quote. I just loved it because it really gives it all a little bit more, a better perspective. He says, as a pagan, I found that 99% of my practices and worshiping consists of just going outside, sitting still, shutting the hell up. Oh, that's my part. Okay. Shutting up and listening. Joe DiMaggio, Joe W. Marek. That says it all, my darlings. That really just is perfect. It's not just the rituals, it's going out there and this is how you connect. You know, you have to get out there. Even with other people, even with assholes, you have the connection, whether you like it or not. But it's just something that you're going to have to deal with, I guess. But so you're also feeling other people. You're learning yourself. You understand? So the Delphic proverb, know thyself, is the premise of our tradition. It's not about knowing the gods. By knowing the self, we will know the gods. You know what I mean? That's why you can't really call a god, hey, you know, I want to talk to you, come here. I want you to help me out. He's going to look at you a little funny, you know. All I'm trying to do is get you in the right frame of mind type of deal. So once the Hellenic pagan comes to the realization that he's basically looking to himself and discovering himself, that really means that he has come to the gates of the mysteries. So the mysteries are calling to them. And what happens is that they come and they come to the order, the pagan order, the Hellenic pagan order, and they become a candidate to the mysteries. This happens once a year. Happens on the fall equinox. It's called a candidate review. It's basically an essay, a test, an exam, a written exam, but not of questions that you have to study for or anything like that. It's basically asking you stuff that you should know from your own experience, type of deal. So there's no real way of failing the review unless you don't even write it. But if you're not, you see, beginners need to start with the pagan tradition. When they come to the mystery tradition, their training will increase more intensely, not just sensitivity stuff and, you know, mental and astral and all that stuff. So but that's in the mystery tradition. You need to know these things though to be able to go there. So what they do is they take the candidate review, and if they do pass the candidate review, they are told to find themselves a crystal egg. Could be an egg of lapis lazuli or whatever, or agate, or you know, whatever, you know, just an egg shaped. Why? Because the egg symbolizes your soul or your spirit or your demona. So you get yourself an egg. It's called a cow egg or a cow, and you program it. So if you don't know how to program, so you program this thing for about 33 days. And basically what you're doing is you're attaching yourself to this. You're putting your demuna into, represented by this egg. And then come the spring equinox, you take the egg and you bury it. You bury it in the earth, in a potted plant or whatever, yeah, but in the earth, until the fall equinox, where you will dig it up and you'll put it on a little altar that you'll have. And there'll be exercises that you would do with your egg while it's in the earth and while it's outside the earth. And that basically connects you to Mother Earth. And if it connects you to Mother Earth, it's connecting you to yourself. So, but the mind needs to see this in order for it to follow along. Okay. So, once they do that, once they dig it up in the winter, when the fall equinox, their exercises will start to mold them. And what happens is that in that year, they basically initiate themselves. So that in the springtime, all of a sudden, they have a knowledge or a sense that they didn't have before. They understand things that they never understood before. This has proven to be the case in a number of times. It's a tradition, and it does happen. So once this happens, they're initiated, they enter the order or the fellowship of mystics, and they're called a mystic, yeah. And they go through more intense training, because being a mystic means basically that you're working on yourself, spiritual development, progression. Okay, so that is what I wanted to say about all this stuff here for beginners. But also, I want to tackle a couple of last things. One thing is the rites and the rituals that you'll find in the book are done in a way that they're easy to follow and they're easy to do. They're step by step, but they're also meant to be a blueprint of what you're supposed to do, because not everybody's going to be able to do a lot of these things. Because why? Because I'm 16 and I have to hide my altar from my parents, who are Christian fanatics, and stuff like that. So you're going to have to learn how to adjust yourself, adjust your circumstances to be able to do these rituals or rites. So that means that our tradition, each one of us, though we follow the holidays and the other rites, still we do them in our own way, the way we can do them. I mean, Anthea is May Day. So on Anthea, you're supposed to go out to the sea or to some water, have a picnic, and make these wreaths and put them on your head on May 1st. If you're in Canada, baby, you ain't doing no wreaths. So you're going to have to improvise. You're going to have to, fit it to your own circumstances. So you'll see a lot of this happening. And that's called personalizing your tradition. the more you personalize it, the more the tradition and you become one. The tradition is a living tradition, and it lives in you. The tradition is to know yourself. And everything that you experience is teaching you about yourself. Okay. So, I've been babbling a little bit too long, so I'm going to try to shorten it up a little bit. I'll finish with this. Some of you have asked me, geez, I did a shitload of research and it got me here, and is it ever ending? And the answer to that, my dears, is hell no. So long as so long as your mind is active, you will be researching and studying. It's just the nature of the beast. No, not that beast. A real beast. So, but there's some funny things about Greek history that you need to be aware of. First of all, base everything that you want to know truthfully about ancient Greece on primary sources. Primary sources do not include Roman writers. Primary sources include only ancient Greek writers. So, grab yourself the classics and start studying. You'll learn a lot of stuff by studying the classics, the philosophies, the tragedies, the plays. You'll find a lot of information there about rituals, about rites, about all that stuff. When it gets to secondary sources, especially academic sources, unfortunately, you cannot rely on academic sources because Greek history is being unfolded for at least the past 50 years. We know a hell of a lot more about ancient Greece than they did 50 years ago. So academically, the more recent books you can find, the better, because at least they'll have the latest information. I'll give you an example of this. If you were to read any books before 1950, 1952 approximately, archaeology had started in the 19th century, late 19th century, and early 20th century. 20th century. But what they found, along with the Greek alphabet, they found this other form of writing that they called Linear B. And up until 1952, they believed that the Greeks were only from 900 BC, because that was the year, that was the age of the first alphabet. The alphabet came out in 900 BC, therefore Greeks were migrants from some Indo-European place and migrated to Greece and became Greeks. And that was their story. Linear B was a different culture. and the alphabet were the Greeks that migrated. But in 1952, these linguists, especially one linguist, was able to translate Linear B or Linear A, or both. And lo and behold, he discovered that what Linear B was basically Greek. The language was Greek. The script was just basically what they were using before the alphabet. So it really shot to hell the story of migrants coming and becoming Greeks. They were already here with the Linear B. But if you would read anything before 1952, all academics will say there were two cultures: the pre-Greeks and the Greeks. The pre-Greeks were, I don't know what they call them, but the Greeks were Indo-European migrants, whatever that meant. So when they learned that Linear B was Greek, it nullified all studies that exclaimed that there were a different culture. So nowadays, though, they have also taken DNA and they have traced modern Greeks, especially in Crete, and they've traced them back to Mycenaean Greeks. So we're at least as far back as Mycenaeans, which would be 2000 BC or something like that, or even earlier. But Mycenaeans are also tied to the first farmers. And the first farmers were in 800 BC in this part of the world. So now they've been able to trace Greeks right back to 8000 BC, at least, if not, Paleolithic and all that. So this gets a little, so if you're reading that there were two different cultures and then all of a sudden you're reading that Greeks are from 8000 BC, sort of confuses you. So stick to at least after 1952. At least after 1952. But the more modern, the more recent, the better it is, because they've been finding a lot of stuff here in Greece that explains a lot of different things. So, like Atlantis too, yeah. Okay, so basically that's what I wanted to say. I hope you found these notes a little bit useful. I am thinking about taking some of these exercises and actually making videos for them and giving you different exercises for sensitivity, strengthening. Of course, you're free to put in the commentary below anything that you wish me to talk about. Yeah, and take away the and all that. I'm human, please. So, okay, everything's basically done. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it useful. Please let me know, so I'm not doing this for nothing. I really appreciate the input. If you want to subscribe, you'd be a pal. Like the video too, you'd be an even better pal. And I'll see you in the next one. Okay? So, yeah, channel's not dead, baby.